Hi, I'm Joe, and this is the Decahedron RPG Podcast.
Hi everyone, this is Joe. Today there is no James, but instead we have a special guest, and the guest is...
Heathyr.
The guest is Heathyr. Heathyr just happens to be my oldest daughter through circumstances being what they were. Sadly, she did not get to grow up with me, and yet she has always had an interest in gaming. And just last week, she had her very first gaming session, and that's what we're going to talk to her about today, is pretty much an interview with a new gamer. And there we go. That's the episode title right there. Interview with a new gamer.
That's me.
That's you. So, Miss Heathyr, if you grew up in my house, under my roof, if we hung out all the time, I could very well see you following in your father's footsteps and becoming a gamer. But that didn't happen. And so how did, at this rather late stage in your old age, did you decide to start gaming?
My husband is interested in gaming, but he likes computer games, and I'm just not into computer gaming. I mean, I play World of Warcraft every once in a while, but I just like to kill things on there. I don't like most board games because you have to sit and you're competing against people, and I'm a sore loser, so Dungeons and Dragons and RPGs seemed more of a thing I would be interested in because it's more collaborative than player versus player.
All right. And so actually, let's go back here, because while I said this was your first session, a year, was it 2 ago? I did run a short little session for you and your husband over Roll20. And I think that was your actual very first experience. So what did you think of that experience?
One could say it was, let's see, what did I do? I set the entire dungeon on fire, killed my husband, and survived.
Just to clarify for any law enforcement authorities that are listening, she didn't kill her husband. She killed her husband's character.
Yeah, because I caught the dungeon on fire. I thought it was funny. I didn't think the dungeon would catch on fire. I thought the vines would catch on fire. I got the dungeon on fire, and my character made it, and his did not.
But did you have a good time?
Yeah.
And really, that's all that counts. The actual outcome, I always think, doesn't matter, because the whole point is to sit around and have fun. And I guess it did, because now you found this group, and you made your character. And, I have to say, one of our listeners' name is Sam, and Sam sent me a little note, and he said that your character is not a munchkin. He said that in 5e, there's a standard point spread, and when you use that, you get 3 plus 2s, and everything else is zeros. So while I called you a munchkin, I guess what I really meant is that you're playing a munchkin game.
I think the DM, who is Keith's friend, did something with the dice to decide, because Keith has a couple of negatives. He has at least one. I have no negatives because I'm awesome.
So how was the first session face-to-face? What did you think?
We tamed a goblin.
What's his name or her name?
His name is Hampton.
Hampton. That does not sound like a goblin-ly name.
I didn't name him. The dungeon master named him.
Did you enjoy the session?
Yeah, it kept me entertained.
Well, you're a bard. You're supposed to do the entertaining.
Yes, I am a bard. And I did do the entertaining. I have a Spotify playlist for my character. It has one song so far, because I only have one song so far for my character.
I'm curious about the Spotify thing. So what is the song on your Spotify playlist?
It's Slow Air Loch Monar? It's played on the bagpipes.
I was going to say, are you trying to read Gaelic? Because that will never work.
Yeah, no, it would not. Because I know Loch is it's Monar.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't speak Gaelic either.
Does Valerie speak Gaelic?
No, she does not speak Gaelic. Her mother also doesn't speak Gaelic, but she would probably be able to pronounce it if she saw it. Actually, there's a good chance that Valerie would be able to pronounce it if she saw it, because she spent enough time up in Scotland. And, of course, she has all that Scottish family. But we're getting off track. So the game is Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And I imagine you didn't select that. That was just selected because that's what the group's playing and you're joining in with the group.
We started a group. It's Keith's friend, his girlfriend, me, and Keith. And she's played before. Keith has played Pathfinder, and he's been a dungeon master a couple of times. He says he's an intermediate level dungeon master. So we created the group.
Nice. And are you going to be continuing gaming? It sounds like you are.
Yeah, we're supposed to meet maybe around New Year's, or we may not. I don't know. We are going to continue the game, though.
Yeah, holidays are a tough time to game. People that have been playing for years and years know that, and a lot of groups just shut down for the holidays and pick up again in mid-January or so. So, talk. Give me your impressions. Tell me what you like about the game, what you don't like about the game, all that stuff. We'll break it down one-on-one, make it easy for you. What do you like?
I like that it keeps me almost focused. No, it keeps me pretty focused. It also has more creativity in it than a board game would. Because in a board game, you're kind of walled into that character or whatever piece you're playing. There's no story. There's no imagination with it.
Okay, and what do you think could be better about Dungeons and Dragons?
The quests could be shorter. I know some people play for hours, but shorter quest for those who don't play for hours. And that way you can go days and days and days and days.
I'm not catching that word you're saying. Short what?
Shorter quests.
Oh, quests. All right. All right. I myself am a fan of ongoing campaigns that really have no end in sight. But I could see where some people, for whatever reason, might think differently. So when you say you want shorter quests, just out of curiosity, are you saying that, let's say you want it to run for 3 weeks, and at the end of 3 weeks, that adventure is what we call them, by the way, not quests, but that's fine. So that adventure is over. At the end of that 3 weeks, do you want to start a new adventure, or do you just want to say, yeah, that was fun and not worry about it for a few months, or what you're thinking there?
You can start a new adventure.
So would it be with the same characters, or would you get new characters for the new adventure?
I would hope it would be with the same characters, because I'm not going to build up a character just to have to build a new one for a new campaign.
Okay, so that, by the way, in gaming speak, that's called a campaign. A series of adventures with the same characters is called a campaign. And sometimes all the adventures are related. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes it's like episodic television. Sometimes it's like episodic television with a big story arc. I don't know what you're all playing adventure-wise. I think you said it was something published, right?
I just had it. Lost Minds of Phandelver.
Okay, I think that's a place in the Forgotten Realms. I am not a Forgotten Realms expert, so I can't tell you. But yeah, so that might even be... I'm going to cheat and use the power of the internet. Wow, I just typed in Lost Minds and it come up.
I was going to say, I sent it to you in the chat too. Well, what it's called.
No, I didn't even have to get that far. What did you say your character's name was?
File one.
Did you name your character yourself?
Yes.
All right. I've looked up the adventure you're playing there, and yeah, there's a whole bunch of, it looks like there's actually maybe 30 parts of the campaign. So it's like one full campaign with like 30 type quests or so from what it looks like. Quests, I did that too so that you would understand what I was talking about. So yeah, it looks like you are in it for the long term. I think you're going to have fun.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if I kill all the other characters off again and take everything for myself.
That sounds very chaotic evil.
I won't do that. When we tamed the goblin, I did tell the goblin that Keith's character would be the one paying him.
Talk about character creation. What did you think of character creation?
I talked to you a lot about it. I was using the D&D app that you can get, D&D Beyond, which is an app for the phone, and I was experimenting with it. I'm a half elven bard, and I know when I was doing it, you said all my stats were too high, and you asked me if I re-rolled, and I don't think I ever answered. No, actually, I asked if you cheated, and you said that you kept re-rolling until you got numbers you liked, and I said, yes, that's cheating. But at that point, in my defense, I was just playing around to see how you create the character, how stats are created. Yeah, go with that. What was the question?
Just, did you have fun doing it, or was it more of a chore?
No, I had fun doing it. I'm still working on the character's backstory, why the character is a bard. Yeah.
Actually, that's the next question I was gonna have for you is between the stat generation versus the story generation, what part do you like the best?
The story generation.
I will agree with you on that. I think even James would agree if you were here. So what did you say your character's name was?
Filewin.
Did you come up with that yourself? Wait, no, you didn't.
No, I did not. There is a website of elven names out there, and
all right.
randomly chose a name from
So,
there.
does it mean anything?
I'd have to look it up.
No, that's okay. So I will tell you, when I was a young whippersnapper and I was making some characters, not my first character, but some other ones, there was a book called The Languages of Tolkien's Middle-earth by Ruth S. Noel. You could actually go through there and decide what you want the name to be and then translate it into the proper Tolkien language and have a Tolkien authentic name if you are so inclined.
Yeah. Tolkien's one of my favorite authors, so there's a strong chance my character is based off a Tolkien character.
The name sounded very Tolkien-ish. That's why I asked. So do you know the name of the first character I ever made?
Gimli.
No, I was just curious. I'm not going to tell you. All right. I think that's all I have because we're at 20 minutes and I'm going to chop this down to about 10. So anything else you want to say about gaming in your first experience?
No.
Actually, I'm going to throw this in. You are playing a medieval fantasy type campaign. There are other styles of gaming. There's like far future, like starships, and there's like cyberpunk stuff that takes place in cyberspace, and there's like Roaring Twenties stuff, and there's like Call of Cthulhu stuff. All of that. If you had your choice, would you stick with medieval fantasy or would you move to something else? I know a lot is determined by the group, and so you have to go with what the group says. But if someone said, Heather, you are queen of the universe, help us all, what would your campaign style be?
I like the medieval. Do you know what my phone calls me? Have I ever told you that?
No.
I don't think it'll come across. It calls me the queen of the world, the universe, and everything. Because you can program Siri to do things like that.
All right. I'm going to share one other thing with our audience. Yesterday was Christmas, but by the time this goes out, it will be the first Wednesday of January for this episode. Today is the first day after Christmas, December 26th. Actually, it's the second day of Christmas by old reckoning, and I'm kind of old school. But so yesterday, I opened my gift from you that you got through Amazon, and it was the Dungeons & Dragons Young Adventurers collection, which will be featured on this very podcast as a review. You gave me this little note card in it, and I'm going to read it for everyone because I thought that was clever. You came up with this yourself, right?
Yes.
I love this. In fact, I showed it to Valerie. I showed it to her daughter, and they all got very big chuckles out of it. In this gift, I got this gift card, and it says, "May your dungeons be merry and your dragons be bright." That was just made my day. Thank you very much for that, daughter.
No problem.
All right. Well, that's all we have. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Heather.
Yeah, no problem.
And everyone else, thanks for listening. And I will talk to you next week. Bye.
Goodbye.
You have been listening to the Decahedron RPG podcast. Send email to feedback@decahedron.com. Remember to spell Decahedron with a K. Voice feedback can be sent through the Anchor website or by calling 562-RPG-CAST. That's 562-774-2278. Links are in the show notes. Music is by Kevin MacLeod and Alexander Nakarada. Logo is by DesignCat. Thanks for listening.